Hari Om Guruji, prostrations at your feet. Hari Om everybody, and a very good morning to all. It is indeed wonderful that we have all gathered to celebrate this auspicious day of Guru Purnima with our Guruji of Wisdom Foundation. On this day, let us take the opportunity to bow down and pay homage to the galaxy of great sages who have preserved the wisdom of Vedanta. It is through the Guru Sishya Parampara that we have access to this invaluable knowledge. We begin today's program by offering a humble oblations to our Guru by collectively chanting the Guru Stotram and the Guru Paduka Stotram.
Akhanda Mandala Akaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Ajnanatimirandasya Janachalakaya Chakshurunmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Thavaram Jangamam Vyaptam Yatkinchit Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chinmayam Vyapiya Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sarva Shruti Shiro Ratna Virajita Padambujaha Vedantam Bujasuryo Yaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chaitanya Shashvata Shanto Yomatito Niranjanaha Bindura Daktaratitaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Jnana Shakti Samaruraha Tattvamala Vibhushitaha Bhukti Mukti Pradata Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Aneka Janma Samprapta Karma Bandha Vidahine Atma Jnana Pradhanena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shoshanam Bhavasindosha Jnapanam Tarakam Padaha Guru Padudakam Samyak Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Naguroradikam Tattvam Naguroradikam Tapaha Tattvajnanat Param Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mannatah Shri Jagannatah Madguru Shri Jagadguruhu Madatma Sarva Bhutatma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gururadhiranadishta Guru Paramadaivatam Guru Parataram Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva
Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Ananta Samsara Samudratara Naukayidabhyam Guru Bhakti Dabhyam Vairagya Samrajada Pujanabhyam Namo Namaha Shri Guru Padukabhyam Avitva Varasi Nishakarabhyam Daurbhagya Davam Buddha Malikabhyam दूरीकृतानम्र विपत्तिताभ्यां नमो नमः श्रीगुरुपादुकाभ्यां नथाययोः श्रीपतितां समीयु कदाचिदप्यासु दरिद्रवर्याः मूका च वाचस्पतितां हिताभ्यां नमो नमः श्रीगुरुपादुकाभ्यां नालीकनिकाश पदाहृदाभ्यां नानाविमोहादि निवारिकाभ्यां नमः जनापीठ ततिप्रताभ्यां नमो नमः श्रीगुरुपादुकाभ्यां कृपाली मौली व्रजरत्नकान्ति शरिद्विराज जशकन्यकाभ्यां विपद्वदाभ्यां नतलोकपङ्क्ते नमो नमः श्रीगुरुपादुकाभ्याम् आपान्धकारार्क परम्पराभ्यां तापत्रियाहीन्द्र खगेश्वराभ्यां जाड्यादिशंशो क्षणवाडवाभ्यां नमो नमः श्रीगुरुपादुकाभ्यां क्षामादिषट्कं प्रदवैभवाभ्यां समाधिदान व्रतदीक्षिताभ्यां रामादवान्द्रिस्थिरभक्तिताभ्यां नमो नमः श्रीगुरुपादुकाभ्यां स्वार्चापराणाम् अखिलेशताभ्यां स्वाहा सहायाक्ष दुरन्तराभ्यां स्वान्ता च भावां प्रदपूजनाभ्यां नमो नमः श्रीगुरुपादुकाभ्यां कामादिसर्प व्रजगारुडाभ्यां विवेकवैराग्य निधिप्रदाभ्यां मोदप्रदाभ्यां धृतमोक्षताभ्यां नमो नमः श्रीगुरुपादुकाभ्यां नमो नमः श्रीगुरुपादुकाभ्यां नमो नमः श्रीगुरुपादुकाभ्याम्.
And now, from loneliness to aloneness. Guruji, over to you.
Hari Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi. Hari Om and a warm welcome to all of you for the Guru Purnima celebration. The presentation would last for an hour, giving you an opportunity thereafter to ask any questions you have. Guru Purnima is a great spiritual tradition celebrating a very sacred occasion, a day where we pay homage to the gurus of the past and the present, a day where we choose to express our ever felt gratitude. My salutations to that lineage of the Guru Shishya Parampara, the preceptor disciple lineage. The relationship, in fact, between a guru and a shishya is a very profound one. We have many relationships throughout our lives, whether be it with your parents, with your spouse, with your children, with your friends, with your colleagues, with your neighbors. But this relationship with a guru is perhaps one of the most profound relationship you can ever have. And I would not take long to speak the fact of life. Every other relationship, in fact, is binding. And this is the only relationship in life which is actually liberating. It gives you what a human being is primarily born for. And this is that only relationship which facilitates that. And a guru who has attained that realization, or who has unfolded the self to the extent he has unfolded, shows unimaginable commitment to those who seek this knowledge, to pull them out of their ignorance. So a guru puts in a phenomenal effort, a humongous effort. The entire thought and intention is only to uplift us. And those amongst us will understand the kind of effort a guru puts in. Perhaps a few amongst us will be able to understand that intention and effort. And to that intention, to that effort, I bow down. Today is a day we do have to remember the sacrifices they do for our upliftment. A very, very famous saying, Endaro Mahanubhavalu, Andariki na Vandanamulu. In fact, as I sing this song, or remember the great Abdul Kalam, the president, being a man of a Muslim background, but that doesn't matter to him because of a man of wisdom. But when he was being sworn in as the president then, during the ceremony where he was being sworn in, this was the line he quoted, Endaro Mahanubhavalu, Andariki na Vandanamulu. So it is that precise lineage we're talking about, the Guru Shishya Parampara. So the Guru Purnima also is celebrated as the Vyasa Purnima, the great Vyasa, who is the great codifier of the Vedas, who is the Jagat Guru. In fact, in the Dhyana Shlokas, there is a very beautiful verse which offers salutations to the Guru. Namostu te Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Fullara Vindayata Patra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Thaila Purnaha Prajwalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha. Salutations to Vyasa. Namostu te Vishala Buddhe. He was a man of a giant intellect, no ordinary person. So spiritual path is an uncharted path. You do not know where you're heading. In fact, in the spiritual path, you're seeking something in yourself. You're seeking something by yourself. But remember, you can't do it by yourself. Spiritual path is you're seeking something by yourself. You're seeking something in yourself, but you can't seek it by yourself. What lies behind us, what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. And in order to help you discover, in order to help me discover, we all need a guru. We all need a man of wisdom to guide us through that extraordinary journey. We all need it, isn't it? Whether you may realize it or not, we all have to wake up to that fact. Now, the topic loneliness to aloneness. Perhaps these two very familiar terms, that's the topic we have chosen for the occasion today, loneliness to aloneness. Now, these two terms have a significance of implicating what is your inner state, what's happening within you. And these are perhaps two extremities in life. Loneliness, perhaps the majority of society belong to this category where they feel a sense of loneliness. And they are that very rare bracket of people who feel a sense of pride in that aloneness. So during the course of the presentation, I'll try to highlight what these two terms mean and where we stand as a society and why we are wherever we are. So as I said, 99% of the people feel a sense of loneliness. And just to break the ice, loneliness is a feeling of a sense of emptiness, to feel a sense of a void within. And aloneness is to feel a sense of fullness, as the Sanskrit word says, paripurna. You feel a sense of fullness within. So it is not wrong to say that the times we all have been subjected to, this virus which has presented itself, I don't think any one of us have been prepared to face or handle what it has put us through. I'm sure you'll agree with me. And that has brought a realization to all of us that how far have we distanced ourselves from ourselves. We do not know who we are. We do not know what is happening within us. And why do you find this is happening? Why is everybody affected? Why is it you think that people got into the situation? In fact, if you ask me to simplify the entire Vedantic wisdom and where has the humanity gone wrong at large, if you ask me, humanity has not, the biggest mistake of humanity is we have not understood that there is something called as a manual to life. I have not known it because my parents did not teach me. It has not been taught in education institutions. My peers did not know it. My friends did not know it. There's nobody out there giving you this manual to life. And humanity is paying this big price, whatever it is paying. They got lost into this realm of no zone. They don't find that comfort. They're feeling themselves very predictable, they're suffering the consequences. They feel very lonely. And the fact that they are here is because they have neglected this manual. They are actually paying the price for being unmindful of this manual. And the job of some of us is to bring this fact, this information to you. Now, let me give you a couple of examples to understand what is the importance of a manual in life. You know, in my bedroom, there is a remote fan. For some reason, for the past couple of weeks, that fan decides to switch off every 3-4 hours. And it goes into sleep for half an hour to 40 minutes. Now we are trying to press all possible buttons, but nobody knows what's happening. And everybody is searching for where is the manual for that fan. And the situation we are in is now we do not know where the manual is. Now we are at the mercy of the fan to wake up whenever it decides to wake up and then give us that pleasant breeze. Now, how important is a manual just to operate a fan? I remember picking up a timer a small piece of electronic equipment of a timer. And we wanted to fix that timer so that the switch on, switch off time of the light at the porch gets automated. The three technical guys, three electricians had a look at it. And none of them know which wire goes where. And they don't want to take a chance, because by putting a wrong wire in a wrong socket in a wrong place is going to burn it up. It just tells us how anything in life, if you have to run it, if you have to operate it, if you have to optimize it, you need a manual. Isn't it? Don't you agree with me? And how important would life be without a manual? How would life be? Isn't it important that even our lives need a manual? And this fact, since we have not recognized it, we are paying a price. This has to come to the forefront. The biggest or the most important principle, if you want to put it, the first principle of life you must have is nothing externally can secure you internally. Remember this. Nothing externally can secure you internally. Don't be illusioned by the fact that the more you have, the more happy you will be. You got to get over that belief, that wrong perception to life. The more your perceptions are outward, you will find yourself, you're very empty. The moment you turn your perception inward, you will start feeling a sense of fullness, sense of contentment comes in. This is the biggest mistake we are making, that all our attention is outward. We are going externally. So my only appeal to each one of you is, let us all start investing into oneself. And the experiences we are going through today only make us realize that how poor we are within, how shallow we are within. We don't realize that. And this is what is being conveyed by the term loneliness. Do you know what the term loneliness means? It means a state where one feels a sense of a void or a sense of an emptiness that is felt within. And this feeling of emptiness or void can be felt in spite of everything you have with everyone. You can be with the things, you can be with people, and you can still feel that sense of emptiness or loneliness within. I do not know why it happens. There is very much a possibility this happens. There is a sense of a fear. There is a sense of insecurity. I would call it a mental disease, which is like a pandemic. It is truly a pandemic. Not the virus, I mean the mental disease. The World Health Organization has declared virus as a pandemic, but the spiritual masters are declaring the mental depression as a pandemic. That's what the society is going through today. It's not me putting words into your mouth. This is what the fact is. Everybody is feeling a sense of loneliness, a sense of depression, a sense of hopelessness has come into their lives. And if you carefully look at life, who are the people who are going through depression? In fact, nobody is exempt from it, to be frank. It is a matter of degree, that's all. But you find it is the affluent society that is going through this state of depression to a point of fault. The haves, they have come as it were to the end of the road. They seem to have come to a decision within themselves that they have lost the game of life. They have got everything that they can ask for, and yet they feel a sense of void or a sense of emptiness within, which is the primary statement I said. As long as your approach is outside, you'll always feel yourself empty within. And this is exemplified by the fact that these people go to an extreme extent where they think, I can't carry on with life. Hasn't history proven us time and again? I remember following very few of the movies by the very famous Bollywood actor, Robin Williams, if I'm not wrong. You all can recall Robin Williams? one of the most gifted comedians, I must say. Blessed actor. The moment you have a sight of him, you will be in splits. And one of the movies that comes to my mind is the movie called Blubber, if I'm not wrong. Just go, and if you want to lighten yourself up, you will want to watch Robin Williams' movie. So much of lightheartedness and fun and frolic. And it hit me so hard when I came to know that he committed suicide. A man who made the whole world laugh all his life, he felt lonely. These were his last words he wrote. He said, I felt lonely, and he committed suicide. What happened? Didn't some episode happen right in our own industry? A few weeks ago, didn't someone commit suicide? He had everything he could have asked for. He has name, he has youth, he has fans, he has following, he has wealth, everything that he could have asked for. But yet his attention is outward. He found there's an end to his journey of life. Now, the only thing that is saving majority of mankind is the have-nots. They just have a hope in life. But for the haves, their life has hit a roadblock. They have reached a sense of hopelessness. That is what depression does. Depression brings in a sense of hopelessness in life where you don't see anything out of it, where nothing you think can save you. All that you're relying on, you have everything, and yet you feel a sense of loneliness. But if the have-nots are not mindful, you will also reach that same state of someday you'll have all what you want, and you'll reach the same state of hopelessness. And this is the state humanity is in today. Why? Go back to that same reason. You have been unmindful of the manual to life. And what is this manual saying? The manual talks about a human being is an essential composition of two ingredients. You have a spiritual component and you have a material component. And it is this imbalance of the spiritual and the material imbalance that is causing a great havoc. And it is not confined to our territory alone. It is actually gone deep inroads into other societies. And if you do a little research, some of us do only this, so we have just done a little research to find out what is happening. I don't know whether you've heard about this term. There's a Japanese term called kodukushi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's called kodukushi. Now, kodukushi, for us, it may be kushi. We may be enjoying. Kushi is for us enjoying. But for them, kodukushi is a Japanese term. Now, I don't know, I'm really bad at pronunciation, but I'm trying to give you what that means. Kodukushi means it is nothing but a lonely death. When I came to that, when I came to know of this, it was quite shocking. Kodukushi means a lonely death. It refers to a Japanese phenomenon. It is not something new. It refers to a Japanese phenomenon of people dying alone and remaining undiscovered for a long period of time. Can you imagine that happening? A Japanese phenomenon of people dying alone and remaining undiscovered for a long period of time. And 1/3 of Japanese population are single occupants. 1/3 of the country. In fact, Japan proudly is declared to be the most loneliest nation on earth. These are facts. And yet, you find they are the most technologically advanced. Don't you see a disparity? They have all that advancement. They have all the prosperity. They have bullet trains zooming past at close to 500 kilometers an hour. India will only dream of it. When will we ever get to that state of advancement? And this has been their advancement has been there for decades. So they have all that development, all that prosperity, all that money can buy. And yet they have the highest suicide rate. You have kodukushi there. They feel a sense of depression. They feel a sense of desperateness. Why? There's an imbalance between your spiritual quotient and material quotient. Your spiritual quotient is very low. Your material quotient is high. And this imbalance hits you hard. Whether you like it or not, it hits you hard. It's just not Japan. You know, Britain is the first country to appoint a minister for loneliness. Now, all of you, can you raise your hands? How many of you know that there is something called as a portfolio for minister for loneliness? Have any one of you heard till now? Till now? Just raise your hands. Nobody seems to be raising hands. All those whom I see on the screen, there are more than 30, 40 people I can see. None of you are raising hands. You all are surprised by it. But Britain spends close to $5 trillion a year just addressing the mental issues of their own citizens. And from what I gather, they have not found a solution, because the solution is in the Vedic wisdom. It is a science. It is a very practical science, but the source is here. The knowledge is here. We need to revive this great Vedic tradition. We need to revive this Vedic culture, has to be revived. Nobody knows of it. And yet humanity continues to pay the price. Right now, this moment, we are paying the price. And as it may sound, there's a very beautiful saying, humans are very peculiar creatures. We can't live with each other, that we know. And we can't live without each other also. You put two people together, they'll invariably start up fighting. You separate them, also you can't live. Now, peculiar here, isn't it? I don't understand this human race and where we are heading ourselves into. Please remember the price we are paying for being ignorant of these Vedic truths. As I'm saying again and again, these principles of Vedanta are nothing but laws which govern your life. And being ignorant of a particular law or a fact doesn't mean you're immune to the consequences. I go into the kitchen and unknowingly I touched a pan which was just taken off the stove and kept on the platform. When I touch the pan, my fingers are burnt. Does the fire pardon my ignorance? No. The fire will burn it mercilessly. So is humanity paying the price for not learning these values. And the price we are paying is you feel a sense of loneliness in spite of having a very healthy bank account. You have got a secure job. You've got a lovely family. In fact, one of the famous celebrities, if I'm not wrong, it's Deepika Padukone. I don't want to disrepute her, but I'm just trying to take a reference point so that it strikes a chord with you. She took a while to come out into the open and say, I have been struggling. In fact, I'm still struggling with depression. And what has she not have with her? She has a beautiful figure, a personality. She has talent. She has a family which is backing her. She has a very successful career. Everything is going her way. And yet she is not peaceful and happy with her life. There's a saying, a wise man is one who learns from others' mistakes. My only appeal to each one of us is, let's not follow the footsteps. Let's learn from others' mistakes. Let's be wise and realize, where am I going wrong? As I've said, the first principle is, as long as your attention is outward, you will always feel you are empty. The moment you turn inward, you will start feeling a sense of fullness, a sense of paripurna. You've got to turn inward. You have no choice. You've got to start investing into yourself. This is the time. This is the need of the hour. In fact, it's only too late. You already paid the price, but better late than never, isn't it? So the situation now we are going through has reminded us that you need to buckle up. You need to wake up. You need to start looking within. So if you find loneliness is on one side and then you find aloneness is on the other. As I've said, a very small percentage of people belong to this category of where they feel a sense of aloneness. Now, this aloneness is a very high, exalted spiritual state. A feeling of fullness that you feel within yourself at all times. A feeling of paripurna. A feeling of self-sufficiency. In the Gita, the second chapter, it is said, Atmanyeva Atmana Tushtaha Sthita Pragnasta Dochate, he says. He who is able to find that peace and happiness by himself, within himself, he is a man of perfection. So these people are people who are actually drawn to that solidarity. They want to be in solitude. In the 13th chapter of the Gita, he gives two qualities. He says, Vivikta desha sevitvam arati janasamsadi. Now what they mean is, here is a quality of a devotee of God. He says, or a intellectual, doesn't matter. He says these are a quality of a spiritual person is that they are drawn to a solitary place. He says they have a certain distaste for a crowd or a gathering and they resort to a solitary place. Not that they have a hatred for their family or they have a hatred. We also want to be in quietude at times. I'm fed up of my nagging wife. I just want some peace. It's not because of your nagging wife you want peace. Or you have a boss who is very unreasonable. You want to get away from your work. It's not because of you're fed up you want to resort to a solitary place. There are people who find there is that great wealth in that solitude. So they have a natural affinity to revel in themselves. They find the contentment in themselves. That's a rarity. That's not common. In fact, if you look at life, if you look at the kingdoms at large, the animal kingdom, if you look at in particular, you find it is only the weak that need numbers, isn't it? If you look at a lion or a tiger, you find a lion or a tiger. Have you ever found 10 tigers walking together? You find a lone tiger or a lion just decides to go for a small walk to drink a sip of water, that 2 o'clock in the morning. The entire jungle wakes up. The entire jungle becomes alert. They don't need numbers. The strength, only the weak need numbers. The strong don't need numbers. So if you are strong, you will find that you are rich in solitude. In fact, loneliness is the poverty of the self. Solitude is the richness of yourself. Now you seem to be getting an idea of what I'm getting at. Loneliness. What is loneliness? Don't forget the word kodukushi. Perhaps you can communicate to Wisdom Foundation and to me to tell how do you pronounce kodukushi. So we will want to hear some feedback from you all. What is kodukushi? Do some research on it. So kodukushi is the state where we are, is state of loneliness. And then the sense of paripurna or fullness is aloneness. So it is not wrong to say that the ordinary people hate solitude. They're not comfortable in solitude. But the masters make use of this solitude by embracing that aloneness. There's a beautiful saying by Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill once said, solitary trees, if they grow at all, they grow strong. Solitary trees, if they grow at all, they grow strong. Winston Churchill said that. In fact, in the plant kingdom, you find in the jungle, the plants are competing against each other to survive. And that which grows taller than the other kills the other. That's how it is, isn't it? Lord Buddha said, sitting alone, sleeping alone, acting alone, let the diligent one enjoy the forest, taming the self alone. He said this famous word, sitting alone, sleeping alone, acting alone, let the diligent one enjoy the forest, taming the self alone. So whenever you look at Buddha, what? You see him in that blissful state of meditation, isn't it? I don't know whether you have experienced this, but I had a very shocking experience. Once when I was traveling, I was taken by someone with the only intention of educating me. And they took me to a place called Buddha Bar. How many of you have been to the place called Buddha Bar? Raise your hands. No, I don't go to bars. Please, by God's sake, don't think I'm a frequent visitor there. It's an experience. I'm trying to share it. I also don't know what bar is and any address of a bar. But this was a thing in Dubai. I remember they have a very, very exclusive chain of restaurants, franchises or restaurants. They have, I think, in New York and in Japan, and in Dubai, and some few 3-4 places only they have. And they took me to this restaurant, and it's a huge atrium with a Buddha statue close to 30-40 feet. So the Buddha standing there, or sitting there rather, and everybody is at the feet. The tables are laid out and everybody is having drinks. Can you imagine? If only Buddha looking at that, he say, Enappa, what are you all up to? In the name of Buddha, first of all, you name it as Buddha bar. You then put a Buddha statue and you sit and drink in front of Buddha. And here is Buddha saying, sitting alone, sleeping alone, acting alone, let the diligent one enjoy the forest, taming the self. Where is that? And where are we? So today Buddha has become merely something which adorns the walls. That's about all. It's mere piece of decoration. You don't seem to understand, or nor does it resonate what they're conveying. So it's actually a great misfortune if one is unable to be, is incapable of being in solitude. It's a great misfortune. What a loss. So silence, if you look at it, can either transform you or it can madden you. The same silence. The same silence can transform you or it can madden you. The same silence can either be a blessing or a curse to you. And what does it depend on? I truly wish I can actually interact with you all. That's the only way I'll know whether you all are following or not. Whether the silence is a blessing or a curse, whether it transforms you or maddens you, depends on what? It all depends on how you deal with it, how you relate with it. It has got nothing to do with silence. It is to do with how have you been able to handle it. If you have handled it well, there's a kingdom of heaven there. There's a gold mine out there. You can just get that bliss or happiness. But if you have not had that, you will make a mess of it. This is what everybody is saying. So there's a beautiful saying, a seed that is lying in the greenery has life, but it is not living. I repeat, a seed that is lying in the greenery has life, but it is not living. Isn't it? If you were to take those seeds and start sprinkling into the soil, it will start sprouting, isn't it? It has life, but it's not living. Now, I believe humanity also are going through the same phase of life. Humanity are not living up to the grace and dignity of what their potential is. Yet we are also moving around, living life, but we're not doing true to what a human potential is. So the message is, don't gain the world and lose the soul of your happiness. You have gained the world, but what have you lost? You lost your own peace and happiness. So the message is, you've got to pick up these instructions of life. You've got to uplift yourself. And if you don't do that, you'll miss the game of life. Are you all with me? One can only be instructed in a society, but one is only inspired in solitude. You can only be instructed in a society, but one is inspired in solitude. So this imbalance of life is creating it all. The moment you get on to that path of developing yourself, you will find yourself peaceful and happy and contented. And as long as you don't do that, you will find yourself short of life. You will find yourself paying the price. In fact, this is what is beautifully conveyed throughout the Shastras, throughout the scriptures. Ravana had everything he wanted. But yet, did he not find that he found a vacuum within? Ravana had everything. He had all the wealth, he had power, he had in fact a harem from the heavens. Yet he found his life was incomplete. He felt if only he had Sita, his life would have been complete. Don't we all think the same way? We all think, if I have one more in my life, will I not be happy? I hope that lady is not here, but I remember one lady came up to me and she almost like my mother's age, and she was in tears. I said, "Nama, how can I help?" She was coming to the classes. She was literally in tears. I said, "Ma, I'm like your son. Please feel free. The fact that you have come is you want to share something. Please let me know what it is. If any way I can have help." And then she said, "Guruji, I have everything. But my son, only son, he's abroad and he has 2 children. We don't have any other source of getting love from. Only 1 child and 2 grandchildren. And my daughter-in-law is poisoning my son and she doesn't even allow to talk to them. She doesn't even allow to talk to them." And she was sitting and crying and crying and crying. And she believes that if only she could have a little love from the grandchildren, her life would have been made. And yet she said, "I have everything. All what we have is just going to go to them." And they know it. We are not dependent on them. We don't need them. We don't need their support. We are able to manage our lives. We are able to get along with life. Yet she feels that if only they have that, she's going to be happy. This is precisely how your mind is doing to you. At every juncture of your life, your mind makes you believe that there's something out there that is going to give you happiness. There's something that you do not have. And it is that spirit of your wrong approach to life makes you feel you are empty, you're void, you have nothing. But the moment you don't fall a prey to that void, moment you don't fall a prey to that, you realize and you turn backward, there's a paripurna, you feel a sense of fullness. You got to experience it. You got to realize it. There's no way anybody can tell you, but unless and until you take that conscious decision and turn inward, you will not realize it. So it is a serious decision you got to take. Am I to carry on with my life with this approach, or am I to change the course of my direction of life? And all changes in your approach to life. It's not what you do that matter, but how you approach it. If you take the right thought processes, if you address that mental approach, if you are able to control your thoughts, if you're able to control your emotions, you're able to control your desires, you've got the bull by the horns. You will be able to give it a proper direction. So, loneliness to aloneness. So the question you got to ask yourself, are you feeling lonely? Or are you feeling full with what life has provided you? Is life a blessing for you, or is life a curse for you? You make it, you mar it. Don't blame the government, don't blame your neighbors, don't blame external factors. It's what you make of it. Isn't it? It's all what you make of it. It's not the external situation. And that is what is clearly exemplified in the life of Sita. Sita also was reveling in peace and happiness until her thoughts were on Rama. Isn't it? She was very peaceful and happy. She was in bliss. It didn't matter whether she was in the comforts of the palace or whether she was in the jungle. But since her thoughts were on Rama, she was in bliss. Rama means the self, the truth. But the entire problem started, the entire twist happened when she saw the golden deer. So Valmiki, what a master stroke he made to convey the message to mankind. So these great masters have a way of communicating. They just had to. The whole twist happens on the golden deer. And what does the golden deer mean? The golden symbolizes the worldly pursuits. They're very, very attractive. They're very, very tantalizing. They're very, very, they draw you to it. Any external pursuit is like that. You're drawn away into the external world. And the deer symbolizes it is fleeting, it's passing. So the joy content you derive from the external world is passing, fleeting, temporal, and it has a certain nature of attractiveness. So you got to be watchful of that. Not that you shouldn't enjoy whatever you have, but you should be able to not fall a prey to it. You can have all what life can offer. No harm, no qualms about it, but ensure that you're not, that doesn't drive you. You don't fall a prey to it. If you fall a prey to it, you may have it, yet you have not found the peace or happiness. There's a beautiful saying, it is difficult to find happiness in oneself. It is difficult to find happiness in oneself. It is rather impossible to find it anywhere else. It is difficult to find happiness in oneself. It is impossible to find it anywhere else. And whenever I talk of it, I do mention of a story. It's a beautiful, innocuous story, but it conveys a message. There's a punch behind it. There was an elderly lady who was looking for something. And a passerby stops and tries to help her because this old lady was with a walking stick and was struggling to bend and search. So a passerby, he stops and he says, "Amma, what are you searching for?" She said, "I'm searching for my needle." And he also got to search in helping her searching for the needle. Another passerby stopped. This only happens in India. Anywhere else, it'll never happen. They will just walk by you. Even if you're lying there, they will not come near you. They'll say, let the right department come and touch you. If you get in, they're not bothered. That's why if you have lived little abroad or the Western countries, the culture, you don't even know who your neighbor is. You don't know whether the house is occupied or not. But in India, it's a different story altogether. So very soon there was a good group of 15-20 people searching. And then it dawned to them that it's not possible that they can find it. And then they go ask that elderly lady, "Amma, I know you have lost the needle. We have found it, but where have you lost it?" To which she said, "I have actually lost it in my hut." "What? You lost it in your hut? Then what are you doing here?" To which she said, "My hut, there is no light. It is all dark. And I know there's enough bright light under the street light here. Therefore, I'm searching here." This, in short, is the madness of mankind. Because things out there are bright and rosy and attractive and tempting, you're running behind them for happiness. You may get it, but you will not find the happiness. Like you can search and search and search, but you will not find the needle because the needle is not there. Where is the needle? The needle is in the hut. Why? It is dark in the hut. Similarly, the happiness that you're searching for is right within you. And it is unknown to you. And this, to convey this principle, that sanctum sanctorum of a temple is actually intentionally kept dark. Do you realize that? The symbolism of a Hindu, any traditional temple, not any temple. Now I've gone to certain temples, I must confess, you will have to wear little shades. It's so bright. They're all floodlights there. I wonder what is the thing, But traditional temple, actually the temple sanctum sanctorum is kept dark. And the only reason it's kept dark is just to tell you that the God within you is unknown to you. You do not know what the truth is. So you may not be seeking enlightenment, you may not be seeking moksha, you may not be seeking the reality, but yet all of us are seeking what is known as happiness, aren't you? Can any one of us, can we throw up our arms and wholeheartedly say, yes, sir, I have got happiness in my life. I have found it. Why are we not able to say that? It's not because you have not found success in your life. It is not because you have not tasted the joy of life. Yeah, you have had many moments of joy, but those joy was only passing and fleeting. They're only temporal. You get excited. Other day, I heard in the media, a guy goes and buys a Lamborghini, you know. Lamborghini, I'm sure you will know. Kudukushu, you may not know, but Lamborghini, you will know. Lamborghini is a sports car, a very expensive sports car. This guy goes and he buys a Lamborghini in UK. And he, in the next half an hour, something happens to the engine and the car seizes on the highway, just abruptly stops. And there was a heavy vehicle which came and hit the car, and the car ended up being a piece of junk metal, jumbled up metal, that's all it was. And that guy who got out, luckily nothing happened to him. He got out and he's looking all that mess what he got into, because it was his dream car. All his life savings is put to say, I want to have this car. And when it just got destroyed in half an hour. And the policeman who came and he told him, he said, my dear, it is just a car. It is just a car. And this guy is saying, my dear, it's not just a car, it's a Lamborghini. Yeah, it is Lamborghini, but it's just a car. You have sold your peace and happiness to things and beings outside. That is what you have done. Yes, you have the happiness, but you have sold them to external things and beings. You and I have become slave to the external things. Be a master. Possess all what you want. Aspire all what you can get in life. Enjoy all what you can, but never be a slave of them. Be a master of them. And this is what the Shastras are saying. This is what the Vedic principles are. This is what the Vedic wisdom is. And if you lack it, you become a victim of circumstances and situations around you. They're saying, be a master. Don't be a victim of external factors. You can possess them, but don't be possessed by them. Now I ask you, are you the possessor or are you the possessed? Grammatical change makes all the difference. If you are the possessor, you are the master. If you are the possessed, you are a slave. You have lost the freedom of life. You have lost the joy of life. You don't know what the beauty of life is. Now everything is owning you. Your job owns you. Your car owns you. Your beautiful carpet in the living room owns you. People, what they think about you, they own you. Imagine a few people get together and start talking wrong about you in your organization. You know, the moment you just mellow down your voice and you say, you know, you'll instantly have a few ears that lend themselves to you. Oh, is it? Oh my God. So the reaction with everyone is they're all interested the moment you talk softly. If you're talking loudly, nobody's interested. And that's where the masala of life is. So imagine if few people are getting together and they're trying to tarnish your image. They're questioning your integrity, or they're trying to talk, belittling you. Would you be able to come home and sleep peacefully that night? So your peace and happiness is in the mercy of all external factors over which you have no control. So what they are saying is, just learn to be a master of them. Learn to possess them, but not be possessed by them. You must learn to have emotions, but not be a victim of emotions. You can love. But today, that very love you claim to have to people causes great agony and pain, isn't it? I remember telling of that example of a lady who she gave all what she has, she's willing to give. It's not that she's saying, because you're not allowing me to talk to my grandchildren, I'll write my property to a charitable institution. No, she's not saying that. She's saying everything I have is to you. But yet, that the only love of her life is her child, and her grandchild is causing so much of pain and agony. She can't tolerate it. So is the problem with the grandchild? Is the problem with the world? The problem is not with the world. Remember this. Leave the world as it is. Every one of us believe that any situation you bring in, I'll help you analyze. It is not the situation. It's not external. It is how I and you are relating to it. As I have said, the silence is the same. The silence can be what? You remember what I said? Silence is the same. Silence can transform one. Silence can madden one. It depends on how you relate with it. It is not the silence is the problem. One revels in silence, another fellows get frustrated in the very same silence. So it is not what you are dealing with. It is how you deal with the world that helps you. It's not what you're dealing with. Whatever can be there out there, if you learn the art of getting in touch with that correctly, you will be able to find the joy in life. It is the beauty of life. The beauty of life, believe me, it is not in the success or failure. That's how I look at it. The beauty of life is not profit or loss. The beauty of life is not birth or death. The beauty of life is to live life. Life is profit and loss. Life is praise and censure. Life is friend and a foe. Life is good and bad. Life is summer and winter. This is life, isn't it? None of us can escape it. Some of us who have seen a little bit of life understand. Yes, you will say, I have seen it all, sir. I have seen all kinds of people in life. Can you run away from them? No, you can't run away from them. That is a fact of life. Life has got all these things, isn't it? The question is, can you play the game of life and yet not be affected by the game? Just play the game for the sake of playing. Like a sportsman plays game to win, no doubt. But yet if the opponent plays a tougher game or a better game, you will go and congratulate him and say, man, you played a better game than me. Better luck. You should win the title. Imagine you're playing tennis and the other guy wins over you. You go and, like a sportsman, true sportsmanship, you go and shake hand to him and say, all the best, man. Go right till the end. Cup is yours. You'll wish him well. But you have given your best, yet you have lost the game of life, yet you have enjoyed the game. The question is whether you're enjoying the process, not the proceeds. Everybody is only interested in the proceeds. Nobody is interested in the process. Let's learn to live life first, man. Not the proceeds. If you don't learn to live life and just be interested in the proceeds will not help you to enjoy life. You have lost the game of life. As I have said, you may have all what you have acquired, yet you will find yourself lonely and miserable. You can feel that same amidst people. Amidst wealth, amidst everything, you can feel that sense of void or emptiness or loneliness. So it is not the world. You got to start realizing that you got to start investing in yourself. Better late than never. It's not the world, it's how you relate to the world that's the problem. It is not the silence, it's how you relate to the silence the problem. It is not your mother-in-law, it's how you relate to the mother-in-law that's the problem. Don't blame mother-in-law. Sadly, everybody has demonized mother-in-laws and demonized mothers. No. It's not that mothers are goddesses and mother-in-laws are demons. No. It's not the mother or mother-in-law. It's how you deal with them. It is not the wealth. It's how you deal with wealth. You know the very famous words of Vajragovindam, Adi Shankaracharya. He says, Artham anartham bhavaya nityam nasti tata sukha lesha satyam putradapi dhana bhajam bhitihi sarvatraisha vihitaritihi. I don't understand. I don't realize. I don't know whether you understand what that means. I don't think anybody realizes what that means. He says, Artham anartham. He says, wealth is a calamity, he says. Does it dawn on you? And all what you have done is you have only amassed wealth all your life. You're acquiring. Acquisition, enjoyment seems to be the primary motive of life. Everybody wants to gain more and more and more. No harm. Please go ahead. But please build your life as well. Life is not just about making a living. Learn to live life. Learn to be independent of what you have. Try to go within and find that bliss, that fountainhead of happiness which is right within you. Don't be a slave to your possessions. Be a master of what you all have. Don't be a victim of your emotions. Be a master of your emotions. Get on with life. Play the game of life. Doesn't matter, you may win or lose, but enjoy life as a process. And if you get to that understanding of what these Vedic principles are, the Vedic principles or the manual of life I'm talking about, if you have that manual, you will know why and where you're going wrong. The problem is not with the world. The problem is your relationship with the world. If you can remember this in today's presentation, you have done well. The problem is not with what you're dealing with. The problem is, how am I dealing with whatever I'm dealing with? A simple example, an age-old example. Have we not seen people coming on this bicycle to your doorstep to wanting to sharpen your kitchen knives or any tools in the house? And I was shocked to see the other day, there was a guy with a bicycle doing the same job. He was there right across the street trying to sharpen the knives. I have not seen that off late. So the moment I saw that fellow, I said, hey, we had a gardening tool that needs to be done. So we called that fellow, and in a matter of 5 minutes, he sharpened the gardening tool and he gave it back to us, back to our normal self. I could do whatever trimming of the garden. Now, I give you also the same tool and the same stone. What would be the result? Perhaps you'll come and me say, sir, I'm glad I've put my hands to it, but actually the stone is a little rough, sir. If only the stone was a little smooth, it will help me better. My dear, you fail to realize the whole trick, the whole knack, the whole art is how beautifully you place that instrument against a rough stone. You need that rough stone to sharpen that tool, isn't it? You need a rough world to sharpen your personality. You need the waves to enjoy the surfers, who go into those waves to enjoy the surf. You need a rough sea. If the sea is dead, there is no life in it. There is no maja. You give a surfboard to a guy, to a surfer and say, come on, let's go surf. I said, where? For what? You can't surf in the swimming pool, can you? Huh? You can only swim in the swimming pool, but you can't surf. But you want to surf, you need those whole huge waves that go rise up and then plunge into it. And you find, I remember this advertisement of Old Spice, that shaving cream, That guy is coming right through that wave, right from the beginning till the end, and he somehow balances himself the entire length of that wave. And then of it, Old Spice. Advertisement comes there. That's why advertisement stuck in my mind. Maybe I have been seeing this advertisement of Old Spice even before I have thought of shaving my life. What is that? The game you play. You need a rough stone to sharpen your personality. You need that rough wave to enjoy surfing. Remember, don't complain if the world out there is not kind to you. You must learn how to deal with that with the Vedic wisdom so that you learn that art of right relationship. It is not what you relate with, but how you go about relating with. That is all that matters. So loneliness to aloneness gives you a fact that it's a rude wake-up call that you have not done, you're not invested in yourself. So the world is having a toll on you. But if you have done enough investment on yourself, the very same solitude, the very same quietude gives you that bliss and happiness. Doesn't matter how the world treats you, what the world presents you. You have found that bliss or happiness right within you. So my serious appeal to all of you all is to pick up these Vedic instructions, which is nothing but a manual to life. You cannot get along with life without this manual. Please remember that. You don't have a choice. It is not that it is important. Please mark the word. It's not that this manual is important to you. It's like saying oxygen is important for you all. Sir, what are you talking? It's not a question of important. It's not a question of you have a choice or not. If you don't believe me, let's all do pranayama now for 3 minutes. Hold both your nostrils. People are getting ready to breathe. Please don't. I am not putting you through pranayama now. But just experiment. Just clamp both your nostrils and your mouth and hold on the breath. Take a deep breath. How long can you hold? 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, half a minute. My God. Within the next 10 seconds, you will know what that next breath of oxygen means to you. Isn't it? You will cease to exist without that oxygen. Humanity will cease to exist very soon if we don't embrace this Vedic wisdom. I am not exaggerating. I am not exaggerating a wee bit. You've got to pick up this manual now and learn. And we have it. It's not that we don't have it. We have just been unmindful of it. And the price we are paying is we're feeling a sense of loneliness. We are paying the price. So I would actually write a letter to UNESCO or UN, not UNESCO, UN, to say, please declare depression as the new pandemic. So that we will start taking a note of it and start working on ourselves. Let's all take a resolution today on this auspicious day that we will pick up this great Vedic wisdom that these great masters have laid down for you and me. They have no other hidden agenda. The only objective is just to help you, uplift you. And they go to great length. They go to great sacrifice to part this Atma Vidya, this knowledge of the self. So the least we can do is make ourselves worthy of it, get benefited, get transformed by it. My dear friends, this is a little insight into the Vedic wisdom through the topic loneliness to aloneness. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.